Hello and welcome. Tonight we're going to be doing a live Q&A that I'm going to take a lot of questions that I've been receiving over the last week. I just have to say that between interacting with coaches, parents, athletes, I don't think I've ever seen a busier time in college baseball recruiting or college baseball. Obviously, we have the College World Series as the Division One level, NCAA Division One level wrapping up, but it is crazy. A lot of parents are feeling the pain. A lot of high school student athletes have a lot of questions, and we're going to answer those tonight. The college baseball landscape, all of college athletics, but college baseball in particular has really changed. And we're going to discuss that here tonight. Want to make sure when you find your way to this video, I want to remind you of three things real quick. One, the Blue Book app, it's all brand new. It's really being utilized by college programs, college coaches, equipment manufacturers. Create a profile. It's free. It's all upgraded, continuously being upgraded, but it's a great way to share your videos as well as all of your contact social media information with college coaches. Again, create your Blue Book, Baseball Blue Book app at your Google and Apple app stores. Download and then create a profile. You can reach out to me. We can do an evaluation. Next, before we go any further, stop what you're doing, reach down, take your keypad and hit the mouse and subscribe. It's free. It's all it is just a notification of whenever I put out content, which I do several times a week. And this will update you. So go ahead and subscribe. That really helps promote the channel with regard to YouTube, pushing out the content, helping with the algorithm. And I greatly appreciate that. And last but definitely not least, I want to remind families, student athletes, I am offering a membership that really allows you to be kept up to date with regard to information, insights, education, hearing directly from college coaches, hearing directly from college baseball strength coaches, academic advisors, nutritionists, mental performance coaches, tips from hitting, pitching from professional athletes. This is all available for $20 a month, $20 per month. For less than $250 a year, you are going to be able to get recruiting information. You're able to hear any updates with regard to college athletics and recruiting, timelines, parameters, scholarships, etc. Really a great way for families to save a heck of a lot of money and really be kept up to date. Want to encourage people tonight, please send in your questions. I have several that have already been sent in ahead of time. I will take the time, put the spectacles on. Will, hello, Will. I appreciate you reposting the stream. I really also want to ask for your help. Those of you that enjoy the content, could you please begin to share on your social media profiles? And whether it's a video that I do or information that I might provide, it really helps with regard to creating awareness. Okay, now the big elephant in the room, and that is never has there been a busier time with regard to college athletics. Today, according to Pro Baseball Radar, which is also an app that you can download, we have now hit 6,000 entries into the transfer portal for college baseball. That means NCAA athletes at the Division 1, 2, and 3 level have put their names into the transfer portal, and college coaches are pouring over 6,000 entries. Now, it is very, very important for parents and athletes to understand, as 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 many of you have expressed frustration, I have to tell you that college coaches are equally as frustrated, and they are now really, truly sitting down as a staff, conducting recruiting meetings within their programs, and they are trying to assess the portal entries, B, the JUCO graduates, see the amount of athletes that are coming from post-grad schools, academic schools that are available, and then the high school athlete. And one of the first questions that I got this week, came in from a frustrated parent out on the West Coast. And essentially, we're talking about Arizona, California. This particular parent is in Northern California, expressing frustration that in prior years past, the typical college baseball recruiting class would have anywhere from 10 to as many as 15 high school athletes. And the question was, do I feel that those days are over? And the answer to that question is an emphatic yes. Now, we as adults can argue back and forth who has more information, who's better, who's this. At the end of the day, it doesn't do you as families any good. It doesn't do student athletes any good. And it's not going to change the outcome. And the outcome is that college athletics across the board, all sports, the revenue producers and the Olympic sports, the tennis, the golf, et cetera, they are all going to begin to skew heavily towards the older, more mature, more athletic athletes. The quality of the sport, the quality of the game, the quality of the athletes, simply better. It's a more marketable product. And to be honest, coaches prefer that caliber of play because it promotes, not only their program, but their sport within their geographical area. One of the things that I think has to be discussed is all it takes is one look on social media, and we're beginning to see the impact that this is having on athletic departments. Non-revenue generating sports their roster caps are firm. In some cases, schools are going to go below the roster cap. And in some cases, extreme cases, sports are being eliminated. Today at ULM, Louisiana Monroe, women's tennis eliminated. You're going to see things like golf, tennis, crew, sailing, in some cases, skiing. They're going to be eliminated. We have Title IX implications. We have schools that are now having to redo their athletic budgets. So again, as I keep telling parents that I'm working with, this is nothing personal. It's just business. And the new business model is going to force the industry, us as parents and student athletes, A, widen your lens. B, look at a lot of opportunities. You can no longer zero in on Division I athletics. It's just not going to be as attainable as it once was. That is not going to change. There's not a recruiting service. There's not a mentor that can change that. It's just a reality. I deal with portal athletes every week. I help high school athletes. I help JUCO graduates. And the college coaches that I speak with, to a man, JUCO, NCAA Division III, NCAA Division II, NCAA Division I, they have access now to so many athletes, and their needs are being filled by mature, current college student athletes. And so now we have to think outside the box. We have to think about alternative routes. We have to think about alternative processes, alternative methodologies, meaning going to these tournaments as high school athletes at eighth grade through junior year. What is that accomplishing? Are you getting individual development, or are you just playing games? Games, yes, you get better, but B, you can't control your reps. You can't control your workouts. You can't control your sleep habits. A lot of things are being interrupted if you truly have a passion and a strong desire to become a college student athlete. The question on the table that must be asked by parents as well as student athletes is my athlete trending in the right direction? Are they doing all of the necessary uh, things in order to become a college athlete? Are they getting stronger? Because that addresses the biggest topic that college coaches talk about, physicality. Are they mentally getting stronger, dealing with mental toughness, dealing with pushing through as far as with regard to time management and daily routines? Are they becoming mentally strong enough? Next, skill set development. Are they taking an individual approach, meaning not waiting for mom or dad to drive them for a lesson, not waiting for a team or a coach to call a practice? Are they seeking in trying to get their own reps, whether it's through their friends or wall ball or tee work on their own? Are they taking that initiative? Travel baseball now is becoming more of a developmental model, meaning there's more of a strength component, speed component, skill component, and less to do with the games and the tournaments. That's just the way this industry is going to turn. And if you're not turning with it, you are going to be left behind. Questions. I have just started softball. All right. Is that Mirrens? I don't know that. Thank you to the Blue Book for reposting the stream. I greatly appreciate that. One of the things that we must begin to address, and I think it's important for parents to understand this, is no one is purposely trying to mislead. We are just inundated with information. We have these gurus that want to tell us there's only one way to hit, one way to pitch. There's only one way to go through the college process. Some guy wants to tell you that he's a coach and his son played baseball in Florida. He knows everything. The understanding of the process as far as it fits today has nothing to do when my son was a college student athlete as far as recruiting is concerned. The days of college baseball, as far as with regard to travel baseball, official visits, unofficial, those days are done. They're done. The changes are you can take as many official visits as you want. College coaches no longer bringing in 10 to 15 high school athletes. At most, it's somewhere between 3 and 5 is being extremely generous. If there's 6,000 athletes in the portal and there's only 3,000 openings at the Division I level, how many spots will be filled with high school athletes? How many athletes of the 2024 high school graduates and 2025 high school graduates are we seeing that are decommitting? After much discussions with my parents and talking with my coaches, I've decided to decommit. Most of these boys didn't decommit; they were decommitted, and it's a cold, harsh reality that this world is a business. So, as parents, you have to educate yourself. You have to stay informed. You have to ask questions. College camps are not so much about being recruited as much as you have to listen to what the coaches are saying while you are attending these camps. You need to listen to what they're looking for when they're looking for it. Are they now doing a later recruiting when athletes are entering their senior fall season, not so much their sophomore or junior year? And if that is the case, why are student athletes waiting so long to really get in the weight rooms? You can play games till the cows come home. All of these travel teams that try to tell young athletes that playing 100 games a year will make them better, that is straight up grade A premium BS, as in Sam. I want you to understand that from the age of 14, really it begins at 13. If you're a student athlete, really aspires to play in high school and they want to play at the varsity level, and then they really truly have dreams and aspirations of playing at the collegiate level, you can strip away all of the levels in the divisions because they're nothing that are remotely accurate anymore. Because I can mention schools that most parents and athletes have no idea exist. Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts. Nichols College in Webster, Massachusetts. Salve Regina in Rhode Island. Johnson and Wales in Rhode Island. Wheaton College in Massachusetts. These schools are Division III schools, and they are sending student athletes to Division II, to Division I. I have Northern Essex as a JUCO. We have LSU Eunice in Blinn, JUCOs. They are sending athletes to Division I. So you have to start to ask yourself, if these schools at these different levels are sending athletes to Division II, Division I, NCAA, Division I, NAIA, and we're going to talk NAIA baseball in a second, what difference does it make where you start? At the end of the day, athletes are getting, hopefully, athletes are getting a college degree in a subject matter that one day may become their profession. And so the baseball is strictly a byproduct of becoming a student. There's a reason why college coaches at all levels, when the portal opens, begin to scurry and look for those athletes that are in the portal. They are college students. They know the lay of the land with regard to study habits, social issues. They've lived away from home. They have some maturity with regard to responsibility, accountability, resiliency. They have already blazed their trail away from home and into college. They're obviously going to be a better immediate fit via the portal into their new college programs. So, as parents, widening the lens, and then also, and I've said this repeatedly, but for some reason, a lot of parents are missing this. In order to become a college student athlete, you must be one of the 3 tiers of athletic ability. Tier 3 is a good a good high school player that has decent skill sets, projectable skills as they mature. They're projectable with regard to their size and growth and development, and they are a varsity starter for 2 or 3 years. That is tier 3. For the most part, tier 3 will be a JUCO Division 3 or Division 2 player. There will be an NCAA Division 3 player or a NAIA Division 2 player. Tier 2 is typically a 3 or 4 year varsity baseball player. I want to say this really slowly. A tier 2 student athlete with regard to potential recruiting is a 3 or 4 year varsity baseball player that has a projectable skill set, meaning foot speed, power, velocity, or pitching. They may throw in the mid 80s, low to mid 80s, but they are able to throw strikes, command the baseball. They have good bat to ball skills. They play a position. They make the routine plays, and they are a solid to above average teammate and baseball player. That's tier 2. A tier 2 athlete will look to play at JUCO Division 2, NCAA Division 3 and 2, NAIA Division 2, and then there is the tier 1 athlete. A tier 1 high school athlete has a present or projectable major league draftable skill set, meaning they throw upper 80s, low 90s as a pitcher. They command 2 or more pitches for strikes that they have the ability to locate, land their breaking ball, their secondary stuff. They can throw secondary pitches in plus counts. They have a power tool, a present or projectable power tool, where they're a middle of the order bat, impact bat. They have foot speed that is 6'8" or lower. 6'8" or lower. A tier 2 is going to have a 7'0" or lower. A tier 1 will be 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", all the way down to 6'3". They have elite speed. They have elite arm strength. From the outfield, it's 90 plus. From right field, it's 92 plus. Across the infield as an infielder, it's 90 plus, 88 to 92, in some cases as high as 95 across the diamond. As a catcher, the pop times are going to be somewhere in that 195-20 in-game pop times, glove to glove. Their transfer skills are elite. They keep balls in front. Tier 1 athletes are what the Division I NCAA, NAIA Division I, and JUCO Division I. JUCO Division I is not going to be your run-of-the-mill, I'm going from high school to JUCO Division I. We talked to Dusty Hart from Blinn. We've talked to Jeff Willis from LSU Eunice. They basically are out in the portal getting Division I NCAA athletes that are freshmen or have eligibility as a freshman or a sophomore. That's their first priority. And I'm talking today with Jeff Willis, and he's telling me about the possibility of getting SEC freshmen. So I want parents and athletes to understand this is not like JUCO is not like I'm going to go from high school and I'm going to go to JUCO and then I'll go to a 4-year school. Those days don't exist anymore. They're done. They're over. It's just a sad reality. It's a harsh reality, but it's a reality that we as a industry have to understand. Now, I want to bring this up again because I have a lot of parents that ask me this question before I answer, and I want to let you know the Blue Book, when I get asked this question, we at the Blue Book, we do an evaluation for student athletes. I take a look at the video, and then we have a one-on-one stream call like I'm doing here now, and we talk about who your student athlete is today, who they're capable of becoming, and we create a game plan, and I leave that up to parents. But it starts with you downloading the Baseball Blue Book app. It's really, really simple. It takes a few seconds. So make sure you take a few minutes, download the app, create the profile, and then submit your evaluation form. And then I'll go ahead and connect with you. And I'm getting inundated with evaluations. But then I'm able to endorse your student athlete. So when a college coach does take the time to look at your student athlete's profile, I'm able to add my insights as far as their projectability and their current skill sets. Jason, I know I have a 13-year-old son that is entering the 8th grade this fall. He has played travel spring baseball and fall ball for the last 4 years. Is this coming fall the time to lay down travel ball and focus on weights and speed? So I want to really, Jason, say thank you for sending this question. And I want to answer this correctly. The number one thing I want to make sure I state again clearly, I do not in any way, shape, or form dislike travel baseball. It's here. It's been a part of the landscape for years. It's going to have to evolve, or it's going to have to change with regard to its priorities. Fall baseball. I live in a cold weather state. The fall is very warm. You get an opportunity to be outside. But here is the number one takeaway, Jason, that you need to begin to understand. For decades, I have worked with student athletes, and those student athletes, even as recently as tonight, if I showed you my cell phone, on a weekly basis, they send me their weights. When I say weights, their actual physical weight on the scale. They give me an update on their weekly workouts. And this begins as an 8th grader, because if we're keeping our eye on the prize and we're really striving to become a high school student athlete and hopefully a college student athlete, the sooner that you simulate what you're working towards, meaning what does a day in the life of a college student look like? It looks like sleep habits, nutrition habits, hydration habits, time management with skill set development, academic study routine and schedules. The sooner that you begin to kind of formulate a plan and then every year incrementally build upon that, meaning take the time to understand the value of strength training. Not only is it coming from a strength perspective with regard to serviceable athletic strength, but it's teaching your student athletes to be disciplined, to put good things in their body, to be healthy, to train and have good habits, meaning nutritionally, hydration, electrolytes, etc. Being the strongest version of yourself. And I always tell parents, Jason, this story. When you go into a neighborhood and there's all these beautiful, brand new built homes, every one of those brand new homes in my neck of the woods in New England has a foundation. And then on that foundation, we build up and all around. The same can be said for student athletes. We neglect this. We spend too much time taking lessons. We spend too much time on fancy equipment. We spend too much time chasing tournaments that are absolutely meaningless. We don't spend enough time creating our student athletes foundation. And I will tell you to a man, if you go and look and watch any of my Coach's Corner segments, every coach, and I mean every coach from every level, every division, they say the same thing. Physicality, strength, impacting a baseball. If we know this is a fact, and it is, at what point do you, as parents and student athletes, want to begin to understand how to properly train, how to be supervised by somebody that has the right background and information and degrees? Are they a kinesiologist? Are they working with baseball players? A one-size-fits-all strength program does not work. We just had Ben Fairchild on last week, and he's in the Coach's Corner segments in the members section of the YouTube channel. And he is saying to us, beginning your process with regard to strength training, 8th grade, that should be when it starts. Brick by brick. Every day you lay another brick, you put another brick into your student athlete's foundation. And while it may not look like a lot of bricks after a week or a month or even a year, if you continue to put a brick down every single day to make your athlete's foundation better, stronger, faster, more skilled, when you want your student athlete to be ready, to be recruited, the house will be ready to be evaluated. His house will be ready to be evaluated. It is so critical for parents to understand. It's not sexy. It's not socially acceptable, because your sons and daughters have to work under the cloak of darkness in privacy, early in the morning, late in the afternoon, and they're doing something one-on-one when nobody's watching. But here's the secret sauce. When your sons and daughters want to get to high school and college, when everybody's watching and social media is all over, and your student athletes want to be successful, if they've put down enough bricks into their foundation, all of it was worth it. Going to tournaments, playing 4 innings or a time limit game, or, pool play, and the score is 21-0, a few playoff games, you might be in a 5-4 game, but your sons are only pitching 2 innings and they're maxing out velocity. Nobody gets a ground ball to shortstop. Nobody gets a fly ball to center field. You can't control your reps. Whereas in the weight room, or doing sprints, or doing tee work, or playing wall ball, or fielding ground balls, taking fly balls either off a tennis racket or a bat or a hack attack, catching with your fingers plastic balls, pro line balls, that is helping you get better, and you're controlling your repetitions. So, Jason, I hope that answers your question. The next topic I really want to talk about with regard to recruiting is this. College coaches are very mindful of what's happening with regard to the high school student athlete. And this is a topic that I don't think enough people understand when I bring this up. And that is, I have a playlist on the YouTube channel, and it's a postgraduate topic. And a lot of parents roll their eyes. And I have parents from Texas and California and Arizona and Canada that will say to me, my son doesn't need an extra year of high school. That's not what postgraduate is. But yet a lot of parents want to send their student athletes to these baseball academies where they do online academics and they play baseball. What are we telling our athletes that if they're not successful in baseball, what are they falling back on? And so we have to look at these alternative routes. We have to understand one, high school is a great time in a young athlete's life. Over and above athletics, it's socially big. It's where they're beginning to get their driver's license, they're dating, proms, football games, basketball games, walking through the hallways of class, meeting with teachers and faculty and administrators. We need to stop rushing towards a destination that is light years away and start thinking about the day-to-day processes that our athletes need to perform in order to make college attainable, but most importantly, affordable. And the best way from an affordability perspective with college athletics is through academic money. Cannot stress this enough. 2 questions this week. Why do I push postgraduate? I don't push postgraduate. I just try to explain it's an alternative route for those athletes or those students that have a strong academic foundation. But why do I talk so much about academic money? The first thing you have to understand, as I have said repeatedly, I have athletes that I've worked with over the last 20 years. The vast majority of their money, including my youngest son, by the way, came via academic resources. Academic money is guaranteed for all 4 years of college, as long as you're meeting those thresholds that are set with regard to the academic standards for those particular academic awards. Merit money, grant money, specific majors for male student athletes, early childhood education. Colleges are looking for young males to be elementary school teachers, kinesiology, law enforcement, things like that. We also have pre-law. We also have pre-med. So there's a lot of academic scholarship monies that can be combined with athletic money. Important to understand this new legislation. We keep hearing about name, image, and likeness and all of this money schools are going to be paying. I want parents to understand 80 to 85% of that money is going to football at the Division I level. The other 10, maybe even as high as 15%, is going to basketball, both men's and women's. Baseball is not getting a heck of a lot of money compared to basketball and football. All of the other sports, golf, bowling, crew, sailing, lacrosse, soccer, they're not getting a lot of money. They're getting some, but they're not getting a lot. So we have to look at, from an affordability perspective, if we take care of our grades early in the process, you're going to open up doors with regard to academic money. Next, college coaches, I think I've interviewed 20 in the last 3 weeks, and I have asked each one of them, what's the first question that you ask to a high school recruit and their family? And every single one, including the junior college coaches, said, I asked them, what kind of grades do you get? And the reason they ask that, it's not so much to know if they're smart or intelligent. It's to know what kind of work ethic do they have? What kind of pride do they have in their overall, transcript and profile that they're bringing to a school or a university? And so I think it's really important for parents to understand a lot more is read or determined or thought of with regard to academics than you may be led to believe. Even if your student athlete is a really good and talented athlete, we're not competing against other high school athletes anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. We're competing with men, 22 and 24-year-old men. So when they ask you about academics, they're asking, are you accountable? Are you looking for the complete betterment of you as a person? Do you take pride in striving to be the best version of yourself? not only as an athlete, but as a student, because that is very attractive to a college and university, especially admissions. So there's a method to a college coach's madness when they're asking questions. Hello, Miss Lindmore. And I also want to let parents know another topic is last week I put out a master class in recruiting. And I will tell you that these types of lives and those types of videos that I do, they hurt my YouTube channel because the average attention span is about 21 or 23 seconds. That's a fact. I'm not trying to be, mean or mean spirited. And so when I put out this type of content, I do this because I hope that parents will take the time to hear what I'm saying. And student athletes, stop dooming and glooming. Nobody's purposely trying to not recruit you. You have to make yourself recruitable. And so what I try to do, especially with parents and families that I'm working with, is if you're taking the traditional route of high school baseball to travel baseball to college camps or showcases, and you're going in a single file, you're basically being led off of a cliff. If you're not exploring alternative opportunities, meaning spend the summer, Cressy Performance, Fairchild Sports Performance, Champions, Tommy Moffitt Method, spend the summer getting bigger, stronger, faster. Maybe look into tutoring, maybe broaden, make sure you're sharpening your math, science, language, or English skills. If you're not exploring reclassification with regard to potential postgraduate schools, and I want parents to understand this is not an opportunity for the masses. This is an elite exclusive opportunity that really is only open to those students that really care and have a genuine commitment to being a student athlete. But those opportunities can alter your student athlete's future and increases their network. It exposes them to a global student body and faculty. And then they are prepared to be a college student as well as a college student athlete. The last thing I want to bring up tonight before I say goodnight is this. We are never going back to the 40 or 45 man rosters. In fact, some schools, the 34-man roster, I think some schools may be slightly below that. We had a College World Series team, Murray State, and we're going to be talking with their head coach, and he doesn't even have 11.7 scholarships. Their school is not fully funded. They will be now, I assume, now that the racers have been to Omaha. But my point is, Townsend State, Murray State, they're not fully funded. And while this topic of DSA, designated student athlete, will replace the college COVID players that got extra years of eligibility, it will only be that way for another few years. And then the 28s and 29s will deal with the harsh reality of roster caps in sports that have been totally eliminated. In baseball, maybe one of those sports that gets eliminated by some of the divisions and levels of baseball over the the course of time. It's a very expensive sport to maintain. And so you as parents and student athletes have to be prepared, not for doomsday, but for the alternative routes and opportunities that your student athlete may have to consider and look into, may have to consider going to a D3 business school in hopes of becoming a Division I athlete. Oh, and by the way, if we just take our numbers and we look into the realities of the situation, less than 1% of college athletes become professional athletes. And of that 1%, less than 1/10 of that 1% become major league players. So let's be realistic. Let's look at sports as what they really are. They're part of the development and the shaping of a student in their entirety, creating mental toughness, mental discipline, creating future parents, future spouses, future business owners, future employees that have the competitive spirit that have the ability to work within the team, the framework of the we, and less focused on the me, create drive, create and maintain processes, maintain management disciplines, daily routines. That's what college and high school athletics really are about. Teamwork. That's what this channel is all about. Teamwork, providing you, parents and athletes, information so that you can make educated decisions and don't feel the need to chase. I know so many parents right now that are extremely frustrated because as a 2025, your sons just got calls saying there's no room at the inn or they're going to be cut in the fall. And you have to make that change and that transition. And you have to look for other opportunities. And in some cases, you have to go down in order to get back up. That's the way life works in general. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. But parents, I just want to make sure that you understand this channel isn't about hype. This channel isn't to promote, what my sons had done, where my sons are at, what I did when you were in my position. I've been doing this for 38 years. There's no smoke and mirrors. The vast majority of you have interacted with me via email or direct messages through the Blue Book app, through email. And guess what? I answer all emails and all direct messages. In most cases, many families just need the simple information that I put out on the membership side. And that's all you're ever going to need. You won't need a recruiting service. You won't need consulting. You won't need any of that. By simply creating your Blue Book profile, getting your evaluation, having an understanding of who your athlete is and what they're capable of becoming, and how to go about making sure they get to the level that they're capable of becoming. In some cases, most cases, that's all you need. If you want to begin to consider alternative routes, meaning maybe different high school opportunities, postgraduate opportunities, entry into colleges, this week alone, I probably have helped 7 families with regard to portal athletes find new homes, or we're finding them new homes. Division 1 athletes going to Division 2, 3, or even in some cases down to JUCO. And high school athletes looking into postgraduate opportunities. It's not for everyone, but you must maintain a resource, multiple resources, not just me. There's other people that can help in other facets of the recruiting dynamic, other programs. Again, repeatedly saying like Baseball U, the Knights, NorCal Baseball. We can talk about the Scorpions. We can talk about the Dirtbags. Those programs are doing it correctly and working with their athletes to help them get to the college level or to live out their dreams. But I want you to understand the biggest part of everything that I do is to understand and teach parents our athletes are going to fall. It's going to hurt. They're going to be told no. Are they going to be resilient? Are they going to be persistent? And most importantly, are they going to be consistent? That's what we're doing here on the channel. So this Thursday, we're going to be talking to either Sean at VCU. We have a lot of college coaches that are lining up. I said we're going to be talking to Murray State. We're going to be talking to John Savage out at UCLA. Going to be talking to Coach Serrano from Johnson University. NAIA baseball. We're going to take some time to talk to some different levels and different divisions. As I close here now, really encourage you on the way out, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, create your baseball Blue Book profile, both of which are free. They probably take collectively maybe 5 minutes to do. And then finally, if you find this type of information informative or helpful, $20 a month as a membership. Today, I just did all of my pitching videos for young athletes. We're going to do pitching videos with Tyler and Matt at the Lions Den for the older high school pitchers that want to be college and professional pitchers. We're going to be doing hitting with Clint Hurdle. We're going to be doing all of these in the members section so that you can just press a button and watch a video or listen to a video at your leisure. My books, my courses are all on the membership part of the YouTube channel. $20 per month. Gate fees are higher. You do 4 tournaments, you have 4 gate fees. That's a year worth of a membership at the YouTube channel. So I really appreciate you joining me on Tuesday evenings. I look forward to continuing this. Next week, we will be joined by Tamara Seaman, mental performance coach, mother of 2 high school athletes, and she's going to discuss the mental performance of not only the stresses with regard to choosing a college, but also what is looming with regard to the challenges that high school students are facing with becoming college student athletes. So we're going to get that next week. I want to say thank you. Have a great week in baseball to everyone. Congratulations to all the state champions out there. Prepare now for what awaits later with regard to college baseball. Give me a thumbs up, engage with the video, leave a comment, and have a great week in baseball.